Hello and welcome to the Health Chat. I'm your host, Victoria Soloridis, and today I'm joined with the brains behind an exciting and innovative Australian nutraceuticals company, Give Back Health. In this episode of the Health Chat, Murray and Dane explain how Give Back Health started, the unique mission of the brand, and how practitioners can use the product range to effectively prescribe ingredients to their patients. And you'll also hear them discuss their thoughts on the future of natural health products in both the practitioner and retail space. Join me. Oborne Health Supplies has just welcomed an innovative new Australian brand, Give Back Health. And today we'll be talking to two key members, Murray Smee, the director, or as he likes to be referred to as the company coordinator, and Dane Renshaw, the expert product development and regulatory affairs specialist. Welcome, gentlemen.
Yeah.
Nice to be here.
Thank you so much for coming on to the Health Chat Practitioner Edition. I really wanted to give your brand and both of you an opportunity to explain more about Give Back Health and be given the platform, I suppose, to inform our practitioners about what sets your company apart and how it came about. Now, I understand that Give Back Health is very unique in its philosophy, and I haven't seen anything else like it. I think I saw some products at work a few months ago, because you guys are fairly new, you're about a year old. And I remember I saw some products and my eye was instantly drawn to the products. I was like, oh, what's this? This is interesting. And then I had to go on your website and I had to have a bit of a Google. And I saw that there was a really lovely quote or a statement, and it was, imagine a world where everyone can enjoy better health. And I'm really curious as to what led you to develop this brand and what the purpose and philosophy is.
Okay, well, thank you. Do you mind, Dane, if I kick that one off?
No, please. Yeah.
Okay, and thank you, Vicky, for allowing us to be here. It's very kind of you, and it's a privilege to be a part of this chat room. For me, there was a number of things that came together that kicked off for Give Back Health. And one of them was I was working as a consultant in 2020 and helping a lady bring some other products to the marketplace, natural health products to the market. And I remember saying to Dane, let's go and have a chat about this, because I think you could help with formulations and regulatory. And we were in a cafe, and it was right at the peak of the pandemic. And in the cafe on the television, there was scenes from South America and a lot of people dying in the streets, a lot of homeless people struggling with illness, with COVID. And I think maybe I said it, or Dane, I can't recall who said it, you know, how could you give their health back to them? And that was really a bit of a starting point to say, you know, what could we do to help the wider population, and how could we give back health to the vulnerable people in all the communities? And that was a starting point. And just prior to that, you know, for about the 12 months prior to that, I'd been trying to find a new position in a company or a organisation, and even governments, in a role that would help vulnerable people, either the elderly or the disabled, the infirmed, the addicted. And I was just unable to get a run. So when we started talking about Give Back Health, then Dane and I started to chew it over a little bit more, and we stumbled upon, well, we could do this. We could do a good thing. We could bring some quality products to market. We could do some strong donations, and we could work with some very worthwhile charities. So that's some of the things that brought me to Give Back Health and how it all began. That was August 1 last year. That's when we kicked off.
Yeah, look, very, very similar. I think due to we've both got quite unique skill sets. I mean, we've been in pretty much every part of the industry collectively, so we know how it all comes together. And there's very few people who know how to do that and how to bring everything together, from raw materials through to manufacture, through to the science, through to the innovation, and then the costing, and, you know, getting a product that's viable to market. So we knew collectively we had the expertise to be able to turn things around and get quality products to market. But on top of that, you know, provide a strategy where there's a reduced overhead in terms of, you know, not having a massive team that costs money, which is, you know, great in many aspects. I think the different business models are completely, you know, there's no right or wrong way to do it. And, you know, there's a lot of great things that do go on in the other approach. But we thought, well, what if we went for an approach where through my connections particularly, I can get better prices on materials. I know exactly where they come from. I direct hundreds of brands in terms of how to bring products out to market. So we're on the pulse in terms of what's the latest, greatest, newest things coming through that actually have quality evidence to support their application. So we knew we could turn that side around. We could see there was problems globally. Both Murray and I mean, me personally, I've had, part of my backstory is, I had a family member, a brother who struggled with substance use disorder for a long time and tried to sort of help him through the process. And it was, all the negative things that go often with people in that situation was quite difficult. And really I was like, well, want to try and help people, other people across the country and now globally too, to not have to go through a similar process and try and, what's the one thing we can add to with the charities. We're partnering up with charities that are already providing part of the solution. So supplements alone aren't the answer, but they do provide a piece of the puzzle that can help get results. So with the give back strategy, it'll be there's an organisation that's already providing nutrition, already providing clothing and housing. So when we add, proper therapeutic quality medicines on top of that, we can make the most impact. And that's really what it was all about. How can we make the most impact?
So how much have you guys given back?
Right now,
1 year,
yeah. Well, right now we're up to about just under 1.4 million doses of therapeutic product we've given back through charities.
Wow.
And a number of practitioners. And we have set ourselves a goal of 10 million doses over the next 5 years. And in our first year to be close to 14%. And I think by the end of June, it'll be close to 15% of that target. It's been a great start. It really has been.
That is such a wonderful story. And I love that. And, part of your logo is that green love heart. So it's all about, it just makes sense. It just all works together. I love it.
It's been very humbling to partner up with our impact partners. We work with companies called Good 360. They are like a central warehouse for charities in Australia. They service all of Australia. Close to 2,500 other charities pull stock out of their warehouses. It's all donated in there. Happy Boxes Project. They make up a lot of mainly feminine packages, boxes, send into the remote areas of Australia. Brisbane Youth Services. They've been looking after Brisbane youth on the streets for 40 odd years. They have a clinic and a nurse and a doctor on site, and they were delighted to get some immunity products from us throughout the pandemic and through winter. And we also work very closely now with Women's Refuge in New Zealand. They've got 40 locations really about children and ladies in domestic violence concerns. And again, to be able to get some good nutrients, to get their balance right in their nutrition, to try to help them make clearer decisions and to see the world a bit clearer. We've really been humbled to be a part of this organisation or these organisations. We kicked off during the pandemic with a therapeutic listed sanitizer to St Vincent de Paul, also about 3,000 litres, which they were just thrilled with. So it's been very, very humbling.
Spend that money on blankets and food and housing, and they were stoked that they did, obviously needed it, but didn't have to invest in buying it's a TGA listed medicine in terms of clinical grade sanitizer, so it always has to be the best of the best, no exceptions.
I was going to say that for the last 12 months, our focus on our charity donations has been to the homeless people of our community. So trying to help with homelessness among youths and mainly women, give them a helping hand. To that challenge, I will be participating in the CEO Sleep Out next Thursday night on the 23rd of June. Supposedly the longest and darkest and coldest night of the year. So I'll be sleeping out under the stars, sleeping rough in Brisbane Botanical Gardens with the other business leaders to raise money for St Vincent de Paul. So if anybody would like to join me, please do. If anybody would like to donate, find me on the CEO Sleep Out.
How nice is this guy? Oh my God.
You don't know me.
It wouldn't be right if he didn't do it. I mean, this is exactly what Give Back Health's about. It's Murray's down on the front line.
Correct.
Setting a
Yeah.
good example, and actually, we're not just talking this stuff, we're actually live and breathe it.
So let's look at now the range of products, okay? Because this is where I think it'll really help practitioners understand. And I noticed that you have some extemporaneous products in your practitioner-only range, not all of them, but quite a significant amount. So can you please explain to our listeners what that means, why it's important in our industry for practitioners to be able to use these products in their clinic?
Yeah, sure. Good question. I mean, when we launched, I actually did a webinar with Rachel Arthur as well, which we really unpacked this quite extensively. So I know that's a lot of people saw that, but it's still able to be viewed for people who are interested to dig a bit deeper. But I can sort of talk you through that answer now anyway, so I'll save you the time. But essentially, the extemporaneous compounding, there's a part of the regulations where essentially when a practitioner, so a qualified healthcare practitioner, and there's a list of who they are deemed to be, but when they prescribe an ingredient to a patient after an individual consult, there's an exemption to the product needing to be listed on the TGA, which means what does that really mean in layman's or in real talk? What it means for practitioners is we can get access to these ingredients that we may not otherwise get access to. Some good examples are NAC, that's not a listable ingredient. Other examples are the nicotinamide riboside, the form of chloride, which Give Back Health has. It's a massive ingredient globally, involved in the major precursor to NAD+, which is involved in every biological reaction in the body. It is the biggest ingredient on the planet right now. We wouldn't be able to use that, at least back then, without going through this pathway of the extemporaneous compounding. And the other strategy really was through my background and seeing how often the extemporaneous compounding products are done. They're quite often just done as food products because that saves a lot of money and makes it cheaper for the brand to get the products to market and also make a better margin. So we wanted to draw a line in the sand and say, hey, we're going to do all of this 100% of the time, no exception, in a TGA facility in Australia. And we're going to try and raise that bar of the industry in terms of this is how everybody should be doing it.
So let's say I'm a practitioner. How would I dispense these Give Back Health products, the extemporaneous ones specifically?
Yeah, perfect. Good question. And I mean, we went through this in the webinar as well. So in the instance where the patient requires the whole bottle, so a good example may be with the NRC, nicotinamide riboside chloride. So let's just say that a practitioner prescribes it to a patient and they want to give the patient 250 milligrams for 3 months. That equals 22.5 grams, which is basically your whole bottle. So in that particular example, you could add a label to the medicine and prescribe it. Make sure you write notes in your note-taking history to document the fact that the whole bottle is required. So that's example one. Example two is when we start to combine medicines together. So, for example, some good clinic case studies we've seen, and we'll go through these very shortly through a webinar we'll be putting on the how-tos to mix properly. You may consider in fertility optimization for both males and females, it may be a suitable option to prescribe NRC, NAC, and zinc picolinate altogether because all three of those ingredients work exceptionally well. So rather than getting the patient to have to go through 3 different bottles, we're going to talk through exactly how to go through the blending, the combining, and the mixing, most importantly, to make sure that every single dose has exactly what it's meant to have every single time. And this is really, as a practitioner, we want to get it as close to a good manufacturing practice that a TGA facility would do. It's something that's not taught at uni. It's only through my background working in analytical laboratories as a research scientist, running practitioner brands, that I've had the ability to get exposed to this side of the how-to. But I think it's certainly an area we've had a lot of feedback with practitioners sort of wanting to get a bit more exposed to how to do this, and most importantly, how to feel confident that they're doing it effectively. So that's something that will come out very soon.
I don't believe I've seen or heard of a company that does it as much as you do. I mean, for me, it's a first.
the best example is liquid herbs. Like that's the example that most practitioners get. You've got your drums of liquid herbs, and you get your bottle, and herb A, we need 10 mils, herb B, we need 5 mils, herb C, we need 7.5. And it's a lot more straightforward because we know we're doing twist in the bottle like this 5 times. That's a validated method. If we're doing that 5 times, we're going to get that homogeneity, the homogeneous mixture where every single mil has exactly what it's meant to.
Yeah.
So we want to replicate that with powders and make sure that every single dosage has exactly what it's meant to. And you're not prescribing, 100 times more zinc than what you intended, as an example, because that's a bad thing.
Yeah. When I first saw the range, actually, I remember seeing, oh, okay, this is interesting. These two work together. And I'm curious, was that the thought from the onset was how to pair things? Like, how were these conjured? Was this experience with patients? Is this industry experience? How did you come up with these?
Yeah, definitely connected. Everything is connected within the range. It comes from clinical insight, being on the pulse of the industry in terms of what products are coming out. We helped launch over 50 products last year. I'm currently in Europe checking out more raw materials. So we're on the pulse in terms of what the industry is requiring to solve clinical problems. But every product that's developed, that's the first question: what problem are we trying to solve?
Right.
How is it currently being solved? How can we solve it more effectively? And then what's the additional benefit that's provided to the patient? And we even take it to a layer deeper, which we'll go through soon, where it's been considered with the scoop sizes, so that products can be mixed together strategically to make it just all intuitive and completely straightforward. So yes, to answer your question, there is definitely a rationale behind these products, and they certainly fit together, but we know not everyone needs the same thing. So it's creating that individualized, personalized treatment options, but at the same time, many people will require a suite of different products, to get the clinical outcomes to solve that problem.
And Dane, I think it's fair to say that one of the guiding forces of it is our 3 pillars of looking for quality formulations for mental health, for fertility, and for healthy aging. And they're three base pillars of product development and education.
Yeah, no, most certainly.
And so, Murray, you've had a lot of experience working for Australia's leading practitioner-only brand in the past, and now you are this company coordinator of Give Back Health, and I'm guessing a lot has changed in the time that you've been in this business. And with that extensive knowledge that you have, how has the relationship of health changed for Australian consumers?
That's a very good question, and I think that it's fair to say that over the last 10, even 15 years, there has been a strong move by consumers or people or patients to find an alternative to pharma medicines. And I think the natural health industry has had a boom period. People are looking for alternatives. They know, even through lifestyle choices, through diet, through exercise, through looking after themselves, through meditation, that their health is not just dictated by pharma drugs. They are a lot more good things, a lot more organic products are being sold, a lot more fresh, clean products are being sold. So I think that's been a trend that's been around for a while. And sometimes, the first experience of natural health advice will come from a retail outlet where they'll say, speak to our naturopath in store. And from there, then they can learn some of the good things that can be done, and hopefully we'll move in and going and see practicing in clinic practitioners to really treat their whole problem, their whole person, rather than just ailments. So I think that movement's been happening for quite a while. Right now, and we know that every day, every month, every week, people get more educated. The internet's there. I think educational selling of natural medicines is going to be a very big thing. It is now. I don't see that diminishing. That'll just increase. And with that will come the fact that you can't pull the wool over people's lives. You can't have fluff in your formulas. You can't be shortchanging people. It has to be therapeutic doses. It has to make a difference to you. So I think they're the three things that will keep happening and start to shape up the environment. One thing we can't walk away from is the fact that cost of living is increasing, and sometimes when we see cost of living increases, sometimes we see that people stop looking after themselves a little bit and a few of the peripheral products around them. So that will happen. There are massive price increases coming through in this industry also, with shortage of demand after a boom and just the supply chain being restricted. So there's a few hurdles, but I do believe that it's just positive sailing will be over the next couple of years for natural healthcare and practitioners and in-clinic practitioners should do pretty well.
Yeah, well, I really do believe that your products do have that therapeutic action and the therapeutic dose that you're talking about. There is no question. You know, you look at the labeling and you look at the ingredients and you can say, yeah, this is going to make a profound difference.
Well, I remember when Dane and I started talking about it, he said, well, I'm not going to ever put forward a product to you that doesn't have a therapeutic dose. So every time we put an ingredient in a product, it's there for a reason, at a dose that will do something.
Yeah, and hopefully
it's not just a filler.
Yeah, and hopefully these price rises are just a short-term thing because, just with the way the world is. So hopefully we see a sort of a bit of a reduction as we move forward with everything, not just in health, but food and petrol and whole.
Yeah, that's right. Total cost of living.
Yeah, you're right.
It's real.
And Dane, you have a regulatory affairs consultancy business called Atomic Regs Proprietary Limited, and you have a huge wealth of knowledge in terms of ingredients and actives and all the scientific research. What do you see as the future of Australian health and the Australian health consumers? Are we heading down a highly informed, superior practitioner-only path? Are the retail products going to get even better than the practitioner products?
Yeah, look, good question. I think what Murray touched on is, very much on trend and on point to where it is all going. And I see it as a good thing. The consumer can't be tricked anymore, or the consumer, the curtains are being raised. We get to see what's going on in the shed out the back, so to speak, where historically it'd be, they've got 9 ingredients. Let's put 9 ingredients in as well, and we'll have 3 ingredients that are actually going to do something, and the other. The other 6 are just sprinkles of fairy dust to try and put an ingredient on the label. Whereas now consumers are starting to be more critical and more informed and say, wait a minute, what the hell's going on here? So I think that's only going to continue to occur, which is a good thing because it's, if it's in there, it should be there for a reason. Otherwise, what's the point? So that's definitely a trend that I'm seeing. And also, consumers want to, they want to see that the brands are trying to support good practices all the way through the entire supply chain. So we're not impacting the farmers, we're not exploiting the people who are providing these raw materials. Ideally, we're going for organic. So not only are we helping with the end consumer, we're also not impacting the soil or the farmers or the people every step along the way. So this is a massive trend that's currently, going through globally as well, which I think is only going to continue to take off. And but yeah, I mean, practitioner products are there for a very specific reason. They're there to solve complex clinical problems. And often the way the raw materials work is that when they're successfully launched into a market, they go into the practitioner only channel. The practitioners educate the marketplace in terms of what they're really for, and they go to that extra level of detail in terms of critiquing the science and understanding the mechanisms of action and the biological plausibility, so they can really know how and why this ingredient or this compound is going to get the results. And then from there, it trickles downhill into the retail space where it, it becomes more freely available across retail. So I think that really puts an onus on practitioner brands to, hey, do things that are special every time, no exception.
I guess that kind of answers the next question that I had in mind, because I wanted to know both your thoughts actually. What are your thoughts on practitioner only labeling? A lot of practitioners, some get hard done by because a brand will come out with a practitioner only product and then that exact same formula, but in a retail branding, or sometimes it's a practitioner-only product that comes to market and then a competitor comes along with higher dosages or a slightly, I don't want to say better formulation, but a high concentration formulation. What does this mean for our industry? What does this mean for our industry? What does it mean for the future of this industry, actually?
Yeah, look, it's a good question. And from really, there's a suite of ingredients that are available to use, whether you're a practitioner-only brand or a retail brand. I think that's the first foundation we need to just present to make sure that there is the ability to use these ingredients no matter what the positioning of the company is. Where the practitioner brands, I think, have the ability to excel or to really separate themselves is to use the right dosage of the ingredient that's linked back to credible, robust science in humans. Clinically trialed where possible is definitely best practice. But it is a truth and something that's unavoidable that the retail brands can, basically copy there's levers you can pull when formulating products. So everybody has a price ceiling. There's always a price ceiling, and most of the time that's the lever that they say it's too expensive. Yeah. So it's what do you do when a product's too expensive? You take away the expensive ingredients, or you put a less quantity of the expensive ingredients in. So it is, I think the practitioners want products that get results, because that's what feeds and fuels and sustains their business, because then their patients are more likely to come back. So, it's really make sure it's in line with what's expected to get results. And my personal approach is we just need to keep innovating and stay on the front line and stay at the forefront of what's going on, rather than getting caught up on a product that's 10 years old and it's being replicated by a retail brand.
I would totally agree. And that's where Give Back is quite unique. Sorry, Murray, yes.
One of the things, when we first started contemplating it, Give Back Health, we did honestly think to start as a retail brand. And then as we got deeper into giving back health to people, giving the donations to charity, because of both Dane and my background in practitioner-only companies, you say that resonates so strongly with the practitioners, because basically that's what they do every day. They attempt to give back health to their patients and to their families. So one of the aspects of our positioning is that we try to offer very good value for money in our pricing. So, Dane often said that you leave your appointment with maybe 3 products, but your practitioner would love to give you 4, but knows that everybody's got that ceiling of how much they can spend at any one point in time. So maybe now that with some of the things we're doing in our formulations, you may not need to buy 2 products. There may be just the 1 product that does the job of the 2, or that our value for money offering allows you to put 4 in your bag rather than 3 and spend the same amount of money. So that is a part of our positioning to try to get a better result quicker for the patient and under the care of the practitioner.
Well answered. I like that. It's a unique way for a practitioner to engage with their patients. It's very unique what you're doing. So let's move now to the future, okay? Because for those that have not had a chance to take a look at the range of Give Back Health products, there's quite a significant amount of practitioner only compared to retail. But I'm curious to see if we could jump 2 years into the future, what sort of ranges can we see, or what new goodies can we see, Dane? Because you're the alchemist here.
Yeah, look, it really, the whole strategy for me personally, which I feed through all my companies and through the support of Give Back Health as well, is really let's raise the bar of the industry. Let's make things that are special, that actually create real difference, positive change, and most importantly, get results. So there'll be a lot of products that will likely come through that are just haven't been seen before. And the way that's possible is that we critique every finer detail. I know where these materials come from. I direct the manufacturers where to get them. So we're not wasting excess money on, using 12.1 kilos when you're buying 25. So we can critique and close the loop on all those different bits of the puzzle. And what that allows Give Back Health to do is bring out products that nobody else has been able to do before. Like you look at the Vegan Pro, for example, it's a product that contains so many ingredients, particularly some very, very expensive ingredients, at the correct dosage to actually get results. And although it seems expensive, on Murray's point, at $60 RRP, I think it is, there's no way in the world you'd see another brand launch that for less than 100. So it's actually exceptional value for money in terms of what it offers and what it provides, and more importantly, the results it's going to get. So there'll be more and more of that coming through, where you'll just see products that solve clinical problems. It's always, what problem are we trying to solve? What's the current ways that this problem is being solved? How can we solve it more effectively?
Is there anything that you'd like to leave our listeners to learn more about before we sign off?
I think it's Dane touched on it before, and a major part of our ethos is people before profits.
Mm-hmm.
So that combines with our vision and our mission. Our vision is that everyone in the world can have better health, not just the rich, not just the famous. Everybody should have the right to better health. We want to have our mission is to look after the vulnerable people in our community through nutritional intervention, giving them a helping hand. And with that is our target of 10 million doses over the next 5 years to be donated. And that's the exciting part about the business. It's the first metric we look at every time we review how we're traveling, is about our donations. It's not about our turnover or our money. And the only way we can do this is and we're keeping our overheads very low, so we can bring out unique products at good prices that hopefully will change the marketplace and change people's health habits.
Yeah, look, I think well articulated. I mean, last leaving comments would be, really the big thing is what's going on in the real world. That's the main approach that we're taking in terms of what are some key issues that the people who are walking into clinics every day of the week are facing, and how can we, as a company, I think part of the approach as well is bringing the industry together. Murray and I often say that, where we see what other brands are doing and we're like, that's really cool. That's awesome what they've done there. I really respect the approach they've taken from there, where I think that isn't as evident as it could be. We're actually all trying to get the same result in terms of helping people. But, sometimes it's forgotten, I guess, is a good way to say it. So, I think collectively we're all trying to achieve a similar thing. We've all got the same ingredients to play with, or we've all got, often bring it back to the analogy of writing a song or painting a picture. We've all got the same paints that we can paint with. It's just how we choose to make that art. So, and how we choose to innovate and how we choose to solve these problems so that, people get actual results.
Well, it has been an absolute pleasure talking with you both and learning so much, not only about your brand, but the insights you have into our industry. And thank you so much for your time. And for more information about Give Back Health, be sure to visit their website, and I will have plenty of details available in the show notes. Thank you.
Thank you, Vicky.
Thank you.